Welcome to Living the Smarter Science of Slim, where we provide a scientifically proven lifestyle for long-term health and fat loss by eating more and exercising less, but smarter.
Eat smarter, exercise smarter, live better. I am so ready for that.
Hey everyone, Jonathan Bailor and Carrie Brown back with another Living the Smarter Science of Slim podcast. Carrie, how are you?
Awesome.
Feeling good?
Awesome.
Ready for another grab bag of sane and eccentric topics?
Yes, this grab bag thing kind of suits my brain pattern at the moment. Kind of random and bright, shiny object-ish.
Briny.
What's our first bright, shiny object, Mr. Bailor?
Our first is this new term I've been kicking around, and I want to debut it here on the show. And if things go according to plan, you will be seeing a lot more of this term in the future.
Uh-oh. Now what have you come up with?
Well, let me explain the problem first.
We have a problem?
We might not, but there is a problem out there, Carrie.
Okay, so this is a kind of a global problem, or?
It is a global problem.
All right.
So you and many other people have given awesome feedback that first nonprofit animated video we did, the Slim is Simple piece, where we talk about it is simple, but it is not easy, especially in modern culture when we're surrounded by all of this insanity, both lowercase and uppercase insanity. And part of the reason this is hard, Carrie, you and I, when we were on Jimmy Moore's podcast, we talked about how a sane lifestyle is just like not smoking is to, like a sane lifestyle to obesity and diabetes and many other diseases is like not smoking is to lung cancer. Like if you don't smoke, you're probably going to get lung cancer. And if you eat sane and get eccentric and walk around, you're not going to become obese and diabetic. You just won't. The challenge is our current culture is so insane, lowercase and uppercase, that it's a bit like smoking in the 1920s when everybody else smoked, even if you didn't smoke, secondhand smoke was everywhere. So if the feedback really isn't to avoid smoking, it's to avoid inhaling smoke. And if everyone around you is smoking, even if you choose not to,
that's kind of difficult.
Secondhand smoke is a problem. Well, Carrie, that inspired me to coin the term secondhand sugar, because how many times have all of us we visit family and sugar, for lack of better terms, is served, and if we choose to abstain, we're being rude. Or if we go to the office and someone's having a birthday and we want to say no to the cake. I mean, if you're a vegetarian and you say no to meat, no one's like, judge you. But it seems like in our culture, we are a victim to secondhand sugar very frequently, where if we want to say no to sugary options, there's a bit of a social stigma around that. And children especially. Let me give you a concrete example. We were at Costco this weekend. This little child was sitting in the shopping cart with their parents, and the child was not misbehaving. Child was not doing anything. He was just sitting there, was not demanding a sample. And the parents were pushing the cart next to some Go-Gurt, which is garbage. It is sugar-loaded, processed nonsense. And they essentially grabbed the sample, and the child was not interested. And they're like, no, eat this. The child was a victim of secondhand sugar. It was as if the parent was taking a drag of a cigarette and blowing it into their child's face.
Except that the parent probably thought it was doing something good.
Well, and I think that's the key here, Carrie, is the analogy and the parallels continue, where once we can educate folks on just how similar sugar is to our metabolic system as smoke is to our respiratory system, this secondhand sugar really is a problem and really is something that we need to think about. And another good example of, again, we say secondhand sugar. Secondhand anything is really unintentional ingestion of stuff. Carrie, you brought this up all the time. Try to buy water.
Yep.
Secondhand sugar.
Yep.
Try to ketchup, things you would think are benign, weight loss bars, secondhand sugar.
Yep.
Secondhand sugar. You don't even know you're eating
whey protein powder.
Exactly.
More sugar than protein.
So the net here, and hopefully you'll see a bunch more of this in the future, but listeners, watch out. Just like you watch out for secondhand smoke, watch out for secondhand sugar.
That's very good advice, Mr. Bailor. Very good advice. I was a bit worried when we started out there, but good job.
You were worried. Well, I need to rethink how I present this information.
I just never know what's going to come out of your mouth, that's all.
Well, you can be assured it's going to be sane and eccentric.
Okay, then.
Capital sane, not it's.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the clarity there.
So another this is good news. Secondhand sugar is not really good news, but this is good news, Carrie. We love spinach.
Yes, we do.
We do. We love spinach. And spinach has actually some research is showing that spinach contains a substance along with some other vegetables that can actually help increase muscle strength. So Popeye
was right
was
on.
not just. So, I mean, yes, we need to eat quite a bit of spinach, but certainly.
And let's not eat the canned spinach.
Yes.
Let's eat fresh spinach.
Fresh spinach. But while you're increasing your sanity, while you're getting a massive amount of vitamins and minerals and photochemicals and all kinds of other good stuff, you're also doing your muscles a service, so that's cool.
So those muscles that I have to sit and stare at every week in the studio is because you eat spinach?
I subject you to... Due in part, spinach does the body good, folks. So we can all be like Popeye. Eat your spinach.
All right.
Fair?
Fair.
Carrie Brown.
Yes, Mr. Bailor.
Tell me about rhubarb, because I don't know anything about it, and you probably do.
I love rhubarb. And if there's anyone you don't like, just make them eat the leaves.
What is, like, what? I don't even know.
Because they'll die.
What, no, okay. I was trying to get us back on track.
This is important, Jonathan. For people who don't know anything about rhubarb, the leaves are poisonous. Don't eat them.
It's like that fish.
This is key information. Do not eat rhubarb leaves. You will die.
They're not like spinach leaves. Don't just add them to your smoothie.
Do not eat. They're not beet leaves or any of that other cool stuff that you can eat. Don't eat rhubarb leaves. This is key information.
Don't eat rhubarb leaves. Avoid secondhand sugar. But if you do like rhubarb, or you don't know what rhubarb is, and you're trying to expand your sane repertoire, Carrie, tell me about. I'm just going to call you Kane from now on. Carrie, tell me about rhubarb. What is it? What can I do with it? What does it taste like? Just rhubarb me.
Rhubarb, once you've chopped the poisonous leaves.
Once you've made it not toxic anymore.
Rhubarb is bright pink, and it looks like bright pink celery on steroids. That's what it looks like.
I love that analogy. Okay.
So that's what it looks like, and it's incredibly tart. So you need a lot of sweetener to make it palatable. So that's where our friend xylitol will come into it. I grew up eating a lot of. My father grew rhubarb. We had an enormous rhubarb bush at the bottom of the garden, and Mum just used to stew it. But of course, she used to stew it with, so that's like saute, like you would stew apples, but stew rhubarb, but with an awful lot of sugar, which of course we wouldn't do nowadays. And then you can use it kind of similarly. You can't eat it like an apple because it's way too tart, but you can make it into, a sane apple pie. That kind of, not apple pie obviously, but similar kind of thing is stew it, put it in a pie. You could stew it and Vitamix the living daylights out of it and make a very tasty sauce if you wanted to put on, instead of putting, I'm trying to think of an example now.
Beets?
No, you wouldn't put it on beets.
Cabbage?
No, it's a dessert. I mean, it's a dessert. It's not a vegetable.
Nice.
It's a dessert kind of thing.
Could you do it as a side dish, like a mashed rhubarb, or that doesn't work?
You can't eat it without a lot of sweetener.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's really a dessert thing.
A dessert vegetable.
Yeah. So you could use it where you might use apples previously. So if you can make a SANE rhubarb crisp or a SANE rhubarb pie, that would be kind of what you would do with it.
Nice.
But it does require a lot of sweetener.
All right. Rhubarb, folks. Now you know.
It's awesome.
You just got to know what you're doing.
You just got to know what you're doing.
And don't poison yourself.
I'll add it to my list of things I have to write recipes for.
Add it to the list, the ever-growing list. Next, Carrie, is hummus. Because hummus, personally, I think is delicious. And we've been getting questions about, is hummus sane? So 2 things. 1, I'm going to add another thing to your list. If you could make some sane hummus, that would be awesome.
Well, hummus is chickpeas.
Yep, and to be clear, hummus is not insane, but it is a legume, which we know are optional in the Smarter Science system, not something we want to go necessarily out of our way to eat. But if there is a creative way to increase the sanity of some homemade hummus,
okay,
I would be very interested because hummus is delicious.
Okay, I'll add that to my list. And in fact, because you pleaded so beautifully, I'm going to write it down so I don't forget it.
Woohoo! And the reason I bring up hummus, just even from a personal perspective, is a couple podcasts ago, Carrie brought up these turkey burgers. And just any kind of bland meat, like meat that in and of itself does not have much taste, or even vegetables. Hummus is a wonderful complement, at least in my experience. And if we could sanitize hummus, not only could we save some cash, but it would even further my love of it.
So. I have written it down.
Excellent.
You are on the list.
I am on the Carrie Brown list.
But yeah, let's just be clear. Hummus that you would buy in the store ready-made it's not really super sane, so you don't want to eat a ton of it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of like cheese. Eat as much as you need to make you happy, but
exactly.
Don't make that the central point of anything.
Yeah. But it's and like Carrie said, for example, if hummus enables you to eat vegetables that you would not be eating otherwise, it's fine.
Yeah.
But don't just eat tablespoons of hummus.
Yep. And don't eat it every day.
Yes.
And just don't build your world around it.
Don't build your world around hummus. It's a fickle lover and will turn its back on you when you least expect it. Oh my goodness. I don't know where that came from.
What's the next question, Bailor?
Are you going to reel me in?
I might.
All right. So the next question, we talk about Vitamixes a lot. And again, neither Carrie nor I work for the Vitamix Corporation. And you don't have to use a Vitamix. Vitamix is just a great example of a really high-end blender, which does good work with non-starchy vegetables and other kind of fun stuff. You can get it's like buying a used car, certified used car. You can get a certified reconditioned standard level Vitamix, and it's still expensive. But let's be clear here, folks. The normal Vitamix is $500. That is expensive. It's got a 7-year warranty on it, and trust me, that is a 7-year warranty. Any problem, they just ship you new stuff. It's great. It'll last more than 7 years. So when you break it down, it's like $50 a year. That breaks down to a couple cents a day. It's worth it, but it's still a lot of money. However, the certified reconditioned Vitamix is $330, which is non-trivial discount.
It's less than $500.
I mean, that is I can't do the math off the top of my head, but that's 30% off ish. And in the SANE store, you get free shipping. So, not bad. $330 for 7 years. It's got the same exact warranty, meaning if anything bad happens to it, they just replace it. So it breaks down to $50 a year. Good stuff. Save yourself $170.
Awesome. And I gotta say, the chef in me, the difference in the results you can get in both texture and consistency and flavor from a Vitamix versus a blender, it is huge. It's not insignificant. It really isn't. You can, for me, just the texture and the consistency and the flavor makes it worth the extra money.
Yep. And for me, the non-chef, more of the
assembler.
And just the pragmatist, there are things you literally, I compare a Vitamix to a blender or a Blendtec or any kind of high-end blender to a normal blender like I would compare an airplane to a car. They are both modes of transportation, but if your goal is to get from America to Carrie's hometown of London, you ain't going to get there in a car. So a Vitamix will enable you to do things that you just can't do with a regular blender. Green smoothies is a perfect example. If you try to make a green smoothie in a regular blender, it will be disgusting and chunky and foul. And if you try to put seeds in a regular blender, if you try to make, well, cauliflower kind of works. So it's good stuff, and we can save you 30%. So trying to increase sanity, trying to shrink our waistlines while expanding our wallets.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
We love that.
That's good stuff. Speaking of sane, quote-unquote, juice smoothie options, there was a wonderful question in the delightful Smarter Science of Slim support group, which is an awesome place to check out because it's not like other internet chat rooms where people snipe at each other. Like, it's friendly and nice and supportive. Is store-bought juices, and specifically someone asked a question about Naked brand juices. Now, I'm going to make a global statement here. If it is a store-bought bottled drink that contains calories, it is almost certainly insane.
Well, I just really, it's easy. Flip the bottle over,
Yep.
Look at sugar, look at the number, put it back on the shelf.
Yep.
You'll get real bored of doing that real fast because you'll do that. You'll go through that process for every single bottle on the shelf. So do it twice and then quit because you're going to get the same result over and over again.
Yep.
Most of those juices, so Odwalla, love Odwalla juices, never drink them. 41 grams of sugar right there. It's green, it's juice, it's all good. 41 grams of sugar, may as well drink Coke.
Absolutely. And the challenge here, folks, is that, again, remember, the goal of these companies, no matter what their marketing says, their shareholders are not investing in the company because they want to make people healthier. It's not a criticism, it's just a fact.
It's an observation.
Well, no, and it's a fact. Business, for-profit organizations are in business to make profit, and that's not bad. And we live in a wonderful country which has an more abundance than almost any other country in the world because we have this delightful capitalist economy. Just keep in mind that you are the only person really that is looking out for your health. Nobody else is. So I don't care how pretty the bottle is. I don't care about the health claims on it. They have one goal: to make money. And to make money, it has to taste good. Now, if you do what Carrie tells you and you make a smoothie in your kitchen, you will make a smoothie that is delicious, and you will make a smoothie that is 10 times healthier for you than anything you buy in the store. Because, for example, you will not add apple juice to it. You can say a green smoothie you bottle is all natural and healthy when the first ingredient is apple juice, which is just pure sugar with very little nutrition in it. And if you look at most of these smoothies, the first ingredient is apple juice.
And bananas are another big thing and actually a lot of, if you're looking for a smoothie recipes on the web, just go to my blog, carriebrown.com, and make mine, because the vast majority of smoothies that I've seen on the web have bananas in and or apple juice.
Yep.
So you're already at a huge disadvantage before you even start.
Yep. And that's the key thing here, folks, as well, is that we all know fructose is not good stuff. And fruits, many fruits are a rich source of fructose. In some ways, fructose is called the fruit sugar. That doesn't mean we should avoid all fruits. It means that we should focus on low fructose fruits such as berries and citrus. The interesting point, though, is if you drink one of these store-bought juices, again, I don't care how much marketing they got on them, when you see that juice and you turn it over, one, it's probably got 2 servings in it, and most people don't realize that. They think it's 1. So when you see the fact that it says 40 grams of sugar, that bottle actually has 80 grams of sugar in it, and the percent of that's fructose, you would you would have to drink like 2 or 3 sodas to get that much fructose into your body. And you would never eat that much fructose if you were eating the fruit, because the way we consume liquid versus the way we consume solid foods is different in terms of brain chemistry and the filling effect in your stomach. So,
but also the fiber slows down the uptake of the sugar.
Yeah, and that's the key thing
when
too,
you
is
eat it.
These juices are not, these smoothies, oftentimes they're not just taking fruits and blending them up. They're taking fruit juices and some fruits and blending them up. When we make smoothies, we take whole fruits.
Right.
And we blend them up.
We have
only
the fiber, which
exactly
the sugar that is in there, the fiber helps stop the sugar being released so readily into the bloodstream.
And you also just won't overdo it. That's the beauty of whole foods, is it is very, very difficult, if not impossible, if we just eat the whole food and we eat a combination of non-starchy vegetables, nutrient-dense protein, whole food fats, and low fructose fruits. It would literally be painful to overeat because of the wonderful fibrous, water-rich, and protein-rich wrappers these things come in. And also, it's been shown numerous times in brain scan studies, if you eat something and you derive no pleasure from it, you're probably not going to keep eating it. And these foods are so satisfying that they fill us up quickly, so why would we continue to eat them? It's not like once you pop, you can't stop. Once you start eating whole foods, you feel satisfied and you stop and you're good. Right. Which is kind of ironic, because when we look at these food products, they actually market that this doesn't satisfy you, right? That's what light beer is. Light beer is beer that is calories that do not fill you up. Yay! Sign me up for that. That sounds awesome. How can we take a poison? Again, you can drink alcohol intelligently on the Smarter Science Slim, but it is fundamentally a poison. How can we take a poison, package it with some starch, and then make it not fill you up? Woohoo!
That actually is a really, I'm bright, shiny object you said before that. It's actually a brilliant point that they actually market that they don't fill you up.
And it's not just
one pop and you can't stop.
There's always room for Jell-O. There's always room for Jell-O.
Yeah, that's kind of, I'd never thought of it like that.
They market as a attribute, as a positive benefit of their food.
That it doesn't fill you
low
up.
Satiety. So you're paying for a food that literally, that's like saying our university actually doesn't teach you anything.
You can come back forever and you
will never learn anything. Like, how twisted of a system do we live in? This water will never quench your thirst. Buy our water. That doesn't, what? Isn't the point of consuming something to be satisfied by it?
Yeah.
I guess that's what a couple $1 billion in marketing will do.
You're going to have to reel me in because my brain's gone off over there now.
Oh,
anyway,
man.
people, fruit juices.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Stay smoothie at home. If you can do a Vitamix, do a Vitamix. We got reconditioned ones for $3.30. And if you can't, Ninja is another brand which folks use, not as good as Vitamix or Blendtec, and it's like $120. So those aren't too bad. But Carrie, I think that's good stuff.
Yes.
I think what we should do is just eat more and exercise less, but do it smarter. What do you think?
I'm with you, especially the exercising less part.
I love it. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed Carrie and myself just having a good time this week, as we try to do every week.
Yes, we do.
And we'll see you next week. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Wait, don't stop listening yet. If you like the podcast and if there's other ways we can help you, please join us in the Smarter Science of Slim support group, which is freely available at the Smarter Science of Slim website, smarterscienceofslim.com. There you'll find all kinds of free recipes and success stories and just all kinds of fun stuff, like how to help your kids go sane and just great community content.
And just one last thing before you go, if you wouldn't mind heading over to iTunes and up onto Amazon.com and leaving us a review, and then going over to Facebook and liking us, we would hugely appreciate it.